tomorrow is Michelle's birthday. She's going to be 7. Happy birthday, Michelle.
Happy birthday.
We all know the story of the little girl named Michelle who lived on the beach in a house that looked like a sandcastle, almost. We all know that Michelle's best friend in the whole wide world called her Shell. We all know that Shell was a real fairy princess, almost. We all know Michelle's wish was that every kid that ever came to the beach and said, "I want a seashell," was able to have a seashell. Now this is what we didn't know. Sometimes at night, when Shell was in her bed and it was really, really quiet, except for the sound of the waves breaking gently on the beach, she would hear the wind softly calling to her, "Shell, Shell." When Shell would look out her window, she would see her friends waiting on the beach to talk to her. There was all sorts of sea creatures who lived in shells waiting to talk to Michelle. There was Mr. Turtle, Mr. Crab, Mr. Lobster, and Mr. Clam, to name a few. They were her closest sea friends. They would tell Shell wonderful stories about the sea and the many things that they saw. They spoke of dolphins. Who doesn't know Flipper? Whales. What about Willie? And even mermaids. Ariel come to mind? Then one starry night they told Shell about a little starfish whose name is Twinkle. Twinkle was a very unhappy starfish. For some reason he was always very cold. He would sneeze and sneeze. Each time he sneezed, a gentle wave carried him closer to the shore until finally he ended up on the warm sunny beach. He was happy and warm for a few hours, then the tide would come and carry Twinkle back out to sea. It was the same thing every day, warm on the beach, cold in the water, day after day. When Shell heard about Twinkle, she knew she had to help him. The very next night, as Shell lay in her bed gazing at the stars through the window, she came up with an idea. The next night, Michelle told her idea to the wind. The wind told Shell's idea to the waves in the ocean. When Shell woke up the next morning, it was a dreary, rainy day. The wind was blowing and blowing. Sand was swirling in tiny tornadoes all across the beach. The waves were big and getting bigger. Twinkle was sneezing and sneezing, getting closer and closer to the beach on each wave. All of a sudden, a huge wave picked him up, and as the wave was about to break on the beach, that was when the wind blew so hard that Twinkle went flying up into the sky, way, way up. It was nice and warm. Twinkle floated for a while and noticed he wasn't sneezing anymore. Twinkle was so happy he glowed. He looked down and saw how calm the water was now. The wind was blowing softly as usual. That's when he saw Shell. That's when he knew. He knew Shell. He always saw her playing on the beach. He knew it was Shell who must have done her fairy magic. He smiled down on her so brightly to thank her that Shell said, "Twinkle, twinkle, little star." You know the rest. Like I said, she was a fairy princess almost.